Welcome back, folks, to Rapid Fire Elite, and today we'll cover the WZ-120G FT. So this is going to be a special tier 9 Chinese tank destroyer, and supposed to be Chinese server exclusive, but we already have all the data files for this vehicle in your 9.19 client. So you have the models, the textual stuff, and the stats for this vehicle in your client already in the game, in your res folder. So at the flip of a switch, Wargaming could sell this vehicle, and none would be the wiser, but it could be like the 59 patent, the 121B, so it becomes available after a certain amount of time, but who knows. So this vehicle is basically a project for a tank destroyer based on the Chinese WZ-120 medium tank, the Type 59. Work on the new vehicle started in the early 1960s. The design stipulated maximum unification of components with the base vehicle with the medium tank, and the project was discontinued in favor of other promising designs. So basically, medium tanks or main battle tanks are a lot better than tank destroyers because they could basically destroy tanks with the high penetration shells, APDS, fin stabilized discarding sable from the smoothbore guns, the 125, I think converted from the Russians, or high explosive anti-tank shells, you know, all the drills, but no need for tank destroyers. So this is a paper tank. It's actually a artistic rendering of a paper tank. So legitimacy or validness of the tank is questionable. So who knows, but the closest vehicle I could find that's kinda like this vehicle is an Egyptian-built artillery piece based on the T-54 with 130mm at the center of the superstructure, but it's not as thick as this plate on this vehicle in the game, so who knows, but it's a paper tank out of Serb's ass, so I guess it's fine, but it looks like a ISU onto a medium tank chassis onto a T-54 or Type 59, and looks unbalanced to me, but that's the Pinocchio gun effect, like the Panther's 88mm L100 or 75mm L100 super long barrel gun. So this is 130mm, and it's about the same size or length as the whole vehicle, funny enough. So here is the in-game model. As you can see, the superstructure is huge compared to the rest of the vehicle. So unlike the ISU 152, it takes up most of the vehicle's chassis length, and the gun barrel is super long, compensating for something. But holy crap, it's like trying to mount a large caliber gun onto a small vehicle. Looks unwieldy, but looks awesome. So like a buster sword, whack people with it. Yeah, I mean, it does look somewhat like the ISU, but the vehicles underneath with the suspension, the hull between the tracks are smaller than the average, so looks unbalanced, but it's alright. So it's like the WZ-111-5A or WZ-111-1-4's 130mm onto a medium tank's chassis with the superstructure, and that's a tank destroyer for ya. Okay, I guess that's fine. So here are the main stats. The upper plate is 100mm, the superstructure is 150, so it's not as well sloped as the WZ-121G FT, but it's thicker. However, it is thicker, but it's less effective, so sloping does help a lot. So relatively, it's only 190mm effective, so you will be pinned at tier 9 by almost any gun, even those on the light tanks. Light tanks have 210mm effective for the APCR shells, so you will be pinned by AMX 1390s or RU-251s or T-54 lightweights, you'll be pinned. Side armor 80mm, 60 between the tracks. Rear is 30, 45. So, like the 1G FT for the WZ-120, mostly features frontal armor and lower plate is weak, but it's based off the Type 59. So, don't shoot the matlet. It's pretty huge. So, it's auto bounce mostly. You do have some spots of 200mm effective, so you could penetrate the matlet if you're lucky enough near the center, but I wouldn't try it. Just go for the superstructure. It's not as thick effectively, but has 271mm of pen, so that's above average. But a lot of players complain that the Grill 15 doesn't have penetration. It's 270. That's how much penetration. So some players wanted like 300mm of pen or something, but 270 if you aim for weak spots is good enough. 560 alpha, so it's like the German 128 that's on the Jagdtiger or Waffenträger off Panzer IV. DPM is pretty good, 2950. So put a gun rammer, put special vents, 3300, no problem. So reloads 11.4 seconds, could go down to 10.8 or 10.5. So for that alpha, it's close to the Waffenträger off Panzer IV or Jagdtiger, but it's a little bit slower for this vehicle, slightly. And it has only 30 rounds, but it's high alpha. So, I mean, a lot of players make the 20-ish rounds on the ISU work. You will make this gun work with only 30 rounds, no problem. Shell velocity is a little bit slow, 930 meters per second. It's a little bit slower than the average 1,200 or so on the German 128. So lead your shot a little bit more than the German counterpart, but accuracy 0.364, below average, but it's Russian. Large caliber guns, Russian-esque of accuracy and aim time, but if you put enhanced gun lane drive with snapshot cruise skill and shoot on the move cruise skill, what's that thing called? Smooth ride, I think it would work. So, 6 degrees of gun depression, 15 elevation, similar to the 1G FT for the WZ-120. So that's pretty good gun depression. I was thinking a little bit more, like 7 or 8, but asking too much. 50 gun traverse arc, so pretty comfortable shooting from side to side. So it's similar to the Tier 8 Premium and a little bit better than most counterparts like the Object 704, just to be sure. Where's the 704? Never mind, the 704 has 22, so it's better by 1 degree to each side. My mistake, but it's better than the ISU. Definitely better than the ISU. ISU has like 16 or something. Yep, 16, so 8 to each side. This will feel a little bit more comfortable than the ISU 152. Traverse for the gun to each side is okay, 27.1 degrees per second, but the hull traverse is 38, so it will feel like a medium. It's slower than the Tier 8 counterpart, but it's at Tier 9 with a larger superstructure, so whatever. 14.33 horsepower per ton ratio, decent, but not great. Hull traverse 38, alright. Top speed 47, decent, but still okay. Reverse of 20 kilometers per hour, decent, actually pretty good. Terrain resistance is similar to the Tier 8 Premium, similar to the Type 59, so pretty good for a tank destroyer. Health is chunky, 1,700, so we'll take a few punishments, but view range is pretty good, 390 now, then 380, so it's like the older, unnerfed tank destroyers of pre 9.4, 9.3 patch. So that's pretty decent. And surprisingly, the camo is 31.9%, and that's better than Waffenträger of Panzer IV, and very close to the Object 704. So it's a large superstructure. How the hell do you hide the vehicle with that camo? Alright, radio is below average, but 600 meters is not that bad. It's a special tank. It's not like premium tank, so it doesn't make all the credits or crew XP. So it's like the T-55A. That's the closest comparison, but and weighs about 36 tons. So in essence, it's a medium tank with a large ass gun. So it's like all Chinese medium tanks with large ass guns, starting at tier 7, I believe. The tier 7 has 100mm. Okay. But here are some final thoughts and opinions about the WZ-120G FT. So Chinese server exclusive, it's an odd premium tier, so supposedly special tank rather than a premium, similar to the T-55A. Does have the DPM, the horsepower per ton ratio, terrain resistance, top speed, traverse, view range, and camo. But accuracy is Russian, aim time Russian, gun elevation is wonky, ammo count slightly with only 30 rounds, and shell velocity is a little bit slow compared to the rest, but it's passable. It's fine vehicle. It's balanced-ish. I mean, it doesn't have the insane camo or the DPM compared to the tier 8 counterpart, but it's alright. So we'll feel like ISU with more consistency at the accuracy and the ability to acquire targets moving back and forth, and the mobility of the vehicle at the cost of penetration at alpha. So it doesn't have the BL-10's large boom of the alpha or the penetration, but you have better accuracy, better DPM to maneuver, and better gun traverse arcs, better gun depression. It's fine, I guess. Shell velocity at 930 meters per second might be a problem, but if you can lead the BL-10, you can lead this gun. Not that big of a problem. Mobility is close to the Waffenträger of Panzer IV, but you have 20 more meters of view range for this closed top vehicle compared to the open top WZ Waffenträger of Panzer IV. What? Camo is surprisingly better than the Waffenträger of Panzer IV and close to the Object 704. So in essence, it's a Jagdtiger that trades armor and gun characteristics for speed and camo. Or in my opinion, it's a slightly inferior Waffenträger Panzer IV with better camo, health, and doesn't get penetrated by high explosive. So okay. I mean, is it worth it? Well, personal missions version number 2 are rumored this week to be coming out soon. So this could be a perfect candidate for a second version or second tier 9 special vehicle as a reward for personal missions. So it's currently Chinese server exclusive, but why the hell do we have the vehicle data files? I don't know, alright. So we'll be able to train all Chinese TDs, commander, gunner, loader, and driver. But we did get a T-55A in a world of T-54s. So it's like a duplicate, but this vehicle is not really a duplicate, so I could see they implement this vehicle, or they buff the crap out of the VK168, 01 or 02, or buff the crap out of the maybe AMX 105mm cannon assault, or what's the other vehicles that's in the works? We have a frying pan number 2, and that's the STG. We also have the T103, that's the box tank, but kinda odd that that's at tier 8, not at tier 7. So who knows, but with wargaming they could buff the crap out of a tier 7 and that could become a tier 9. So who knows, but yeah, tier 9s are very special. Tier 9 premium tanks are not really premiums. They're a signal of personal missions. So we saw that in the past for the T-55A. We could see this for the future around autumn/October. So that's the late summer patch, maybe, but who knows. So for me, I'm still waiting for the M1978 coxswain. So basically, this is a North Korean mounting of 170mm onto a T-54. Because why not? It's basically the Jagdpanzer E100's gun onto a T-54 chassis. Or Type 59 chassis, whatever the one you want, but dramatically overkill and overcompensation for something. So, I mean, they nerfed the crap out of the Grill 15, so I don't expect this vehicle, if they're going to implement, to have good stats, because why? Nerf the crap out of the Grill 15 with the same patch as the E5, the T110 E5. God damn it. So stay tuned for the full coverage of the full tank destroyer line for the Chinese. I'm trying to get to it, but there's a lot of vehicles and have to cover the T103s, the Frying Pan, the VK16801 and 02, which is basically the Moishen, the Mouse Chan's prototypes, and the Canada Assault AMX 105mm, and what's the last one? The T29. We already took a preview of those vehicles, but I want to do a leakish or rapid fire leak videos for those vehicles, just in case for reference. But thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
当山峰没有棱角的时候，当河水不再流，当时间停住，日夜不分，当天地万物化为虚有，我还是不能和你分手。